Hi, everyone. This is Sarah. Thanks for joining us here on a Saturday morning. We are going to get started in just a minute. I am recording this for those that couldn't attend live, so they will be able to go back and watch it. This is the part 2 of our Games and Simulations Camp workshop. So I hope you've had a chance to explore all the traditional games that were available on the web. And for this part of the class, we're going to explore the games and simulations that are available on the back end of Edmodo. So please feel free to use the chat. There is, under the attendee list, you should be able to see your name, and there is a little hand icon that you can click on if you have a question. We'll try to save questions till the end. So if you have a question, you might want to just jot it down on a piece of paper and make sure that we can go back and address that at the end. But you are more than able to ask questions with your microphone if you want when we get to the question portion, or you can, like I said, use the chat, which is at the bottom, and I will be going through and looking at that at the end just to make sure that we address all the questions. So again, thank you all for being here. We are going to get started in 1 minute. I just wanted to give everybody a quick welcome and going to give you an overview of what we're going to be talking about. Can you guys, just to give me an idea that you can hear me okay, go into the chat or the question area and just type in that you're able to hear me okay? Because I see some question marks, and I just want to make sure that you guys are able to hear or that everything is okay. So I'm not quite sure why it has question marks. Okay, Cindy, go ahead. I'm going to unmute you.
Muted. It's muted? Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I don't see the chat button.
So I'm not quite sure why you guys can't see the chat button. Can you see the questions area?
I don't see it.
Okay, well, that's good to know. This is a new system, so we may have to do the questions um, through the mic. And then, because I'm not quite sure why you guys can't see the chat, but thanks for that information. I'll try to figure that out, but still jot down your questions and then we can do them via mic. Thanks, Cindy. Okay, you guys, I can see your guys' information under the question area. So if you see an area that says questions and you can drop down that area, go ahead and type your questions in there, and then I'll have to investigate why you guys don't see the chat, because it's really weird. I might be seeing it because I'm the organizer, and I'm not quite sure why you guys don't. Go ahead, Cindy.
It's an Edmodo page. Is that what I should be seeing?
Do you see something that says questions? And then you see on you should see my computer screen.
Is your computer screen Edmodo?
Yep, that's it.
Okay. I still don't see questions. But...
Well, we'll go ahead and just take questions through the microphone if we can't figure out the questions or the chat. That's no big deal.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, you guys, so I have you all muted just because the feedback when you have lots of mics active makes it difficult to hear. But if you have a question, I can always unmute you and let you ask the question. So what we're going to do now is you should be seeing my computer screen, and it's on the Edmodo screen, because that's what we're going to be exploring, is the apps and games portion that is behind Edmodo. And I know that when we were in camp that Wednesday when the internet went down, there were some people that had mentioned that they'd never been on Edmodo. So I do want to start at the very beginning and make sure that everybody knows how to sign themselves up for Edmodo. Washoe County School District has their own domain for Edmodo, and as we move forward using it, it will be beneficial to make sure you're aligned into the Washoe County School District domain, because it makes communication and collaboration a little bit more seamless, because it kind of builds our own little Washoe County community within the larger Edmodo system. So if you already set up an account on just the www.edmodo.com, it's not a big deal, because everything, your account information, everything is the same. The only difference is that to be aligned with Washoe County School District, you would, instead of going to edmodo.com, you would go to wcsd.edmodo.com, which is Washoe County School District.edmodo.com. If you already have an account, you can just simply log in with your same Edmodo account. But the first time you do so at the Washoe County School District domain, it will ask you for a school code. And that's something that you can get from me. You can email me for it. And you'll only have to put in that school code once, but then it will associate you with the school that you teach at. If you're brand new, you click on the I'm a Teacher button, and you'll put in that code that you see that it has Tara's address there, but you can also get it from me. And you'll type in your school code, and then you'll fill out your information and choose a password, and then click sign up. And basically that's all you have to do to get signed up. It's super easy. After that, you would go to the regular login sign up area from that point on, and you'll never have to worry about the school code or anything again. For your students, we're not going to go into too much of the basics of Edmodo. So I want to point you where to go to learn more about it if you are brand new. If you look at actually, let me log in and I'll show you exactly what to do. So I'm going to log in. And as soon as you log in, at the bottom of any page of Edmodo, you should see like a help area. It's really small. It's at the very bottom. I hope you guys can see it on my screen, but it's a little link that says help. And there is so much information in here for new users. They have a great support system. Talks about everything from signing up parents to students to all the functionality, how it works. It's got really nice screenshots to walk you through. But depending on what kind of learner you are, where I usually suggest that people start is to attend a webinar. If you click on the under the Getting Started area and you click on Attend a Webinar, they have some great webinars. And this Introduction to Edmodo one is very good. And you can click on Watch the Recording, or you could sign up for a live one. But it goes through all the basics because we're really not going to go through the front end of Edmodo today. But if you are brand new, I recommend that you do watch that webinar and um, and really get a chance to see what Edmodo has to offer, because there's a lot. Oops, I accidentally closed myself out. So what we're going to focus on today, oops, I have so many passwords going on here. What we're going to focus on is the back end of Edmodo has an apps section. So you hear about apps in iTunes Store. There's like a Chrome App Store. All these different applications now have or software have apps built into the back end, and it's fairly new with Edmodo, so you may not have even noticed that it existed. What you do notice at the top of Edmodo is you have like your main toolbar. You've got your home, your calendar or planner, progress, which is like your grade book where you keep track of your kids' progress. The library is where you store everything. And then next to that, you have a button called apps. Well, that didn't used to be there. And that's where all the games and simulations live in Edmodo. So to get started with them, what you would do is you would click on the apps button, and it brings you to this screen. Now, all of these are apps that I have loaded. Okay, so if my kids were logged in and they were to click on that apps button, this is what they would see as well, because these are all games or simulations or lessons of some sort that I have loaded into my Edmodo account. And so let's go back to home really quick. Now, when I talk about classes, for those of you who are new to Edmodo, in the groups section over here on the left-hand side, teachers have the ability to create groups, and that's what I loosely call a class. And so for our workshop, I created a group called Games and Simulations. And you can see when I search in that search bar that I can click on Games and Simulations, and now everything in my middle stream is only for that class or that group, Games and Simulations. On the right-hand side, you guys can see that there's a code, VVVL86. It's over here in the right-hand column. If you guys want to write down that group code, and then once you've created an Edmodo account, I'd like you to click on the Join button, and then you can put that code in. So it's VVVL86. And the reason I want you to join this group is that there are quite a few free games and simulations available in the Edmodo App Store, but there's also a lot of paid ones as well. So I bought quite a few paid ones, really the ones that were less expensive, just as an opportunity for you so that you could play them, because if there was a game that you were interested in buying, then it would give you an opportunity to kind of try it out as a student in my class, then to see if it was something that you might be interested in buying. So that's one reason I urge you to join this group, is because I have bought and installed quite a few games and simulations and given access to this games and simulations group. So if you join it, you will then have access to them. Okay, so okay. Sorry, I was just checking the questions just to make sure. Okay, so I'm going to go right back into that apps icon in the very top, and you can see the apps that I have loaded. When you click on apps, there's probably nothing in there because you haven't loaded anything yet. So what you would do is click on the Go to Store button, and that brings you to the Edmodo store. And this should look a little bit familiar. It kind of it reminds me of like the iTunes store. Off to the side, you have their top apps of the week. And just like in iTunes, you can click on paid or free. and it sorts them by the top paid and the top free. And then you can see what their top publishers are. Over here, they've got kind of a scroll, a moving scroll of some spotlight apps that they like to spotlight. And then below that, you've got some suggested apps, the recently added apps, and then below that, you have apps by category. So you can see math has 201 apps, and I have 11 of those installed. Science has 46, and I have 5 installed, and so forth. So you can see they've got quite a few categories. I think they have categories that really match almost any teaching area and content area, all the way down to just some basic tools and utilities. So you'll want to take a moment to kind of explore those depending on what content and what area you teach. For example, if I go into math, now I can also do some filtering if I wanted. I could search by just paid or free. And you can see there is quite a few free, which is awesome, especially these LearnZillion ones, which I will be going into in a little bit. There's quite a few paid. There's also quite a few free. And then you can do also a filter for grades as well. So here I've filtered by high school, and you can see they've got some LearnZillion. Now, if you're a little bit like, disheartened because there's not a lot for your area, I wouldn't completely discount it because it's just like any new thing, new technology thing that's being launched. They're constantly adding things all the time. So if you're not 100% sold on that there's stuff for you right now, keep this in the back of your mind and just keep checking back every couple months because there is constantly new vendors adding new applications and things to the store. So when you click on apps, that's how you get to the store. And if you want to install one, let me go to one that's free that I haven't installed yet. There's one that you want to install, which means it makes it available for your classes or your class. You click on that app, and over here in the corner, you can see that it says $10. That's because I actually purchased credit. I took my credit card and I put $10 on there. But if you don't have any money in there, that will say zero, which is not a big deal if you're just going to do free apps. So when you click on it, you could launch the demo if it's something that you wanted to just kind of get a trial run for, because there's no way for you to try it out, but that will give you an idea of what it looks like, especially if it's something you want to buy. It's one of the reasons I bought quite a few so that you guys could try them out as a student. Or you could add it to wish list just to kind of keep it on the radar of something that you want to buy. It'll keep track of your wish list so that when you do get money or donations, you could buy them. You can scroll through and see what some of the screenshots of the game looks like below there. But if you want to actually install it, then these are all my groups over here. So I've got quite a few groups going. I'm going to find my games and simulations group, which I hope I can find here. I think I went too fast and missed it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I put in a check mark under games and simulations. You can see it says total is 0 because this is a free one. You click the agree button and then you click install. And it gives you this message that it's all done, enjoy your app. Now it depends on the app, what kind of management features you have. Okay, so now I should see that. Here's that game. So I go into apps and I see it's listed. If I click on it, it will open that app or that game or that simulation. And you can see this one has analytics, so it will keep track of the analytics, the students that have played the game, how long they played the game, their scores, and whatnot. Not all of the games do that, but a lot of them do. So it's really a great way for you to track the progress and activity of what your students are doing. This one, you can see at the top, it says if you upgrade, then you get unlimited gameplay. The kids can compete with each other. You can see analytics. I think this one you can see some basic analytics without upgrading. Save your progress, earn Edmodo badges, and if you go back and you watch the Edmodo webinar, they'll talk more about badges. Badges are a great incentive for kids. You can create your own. It could be high score. It could be, the big cheese of the week, whatever you want. You can create badges, and you can award those to your kids, and they love that. And then it also, if you upgrade, this one says it has gradebook interaction. So a lot of the free ones, again, you're going to have access to the content, but you're not going to be able to get where it will pull a lot of the gradebook information into your Edmodo gradebook. So, but it's nice to be able to especially play the free one and see if it's a high quality game before you bought. So, when you click play, what's nice is that all the games and simulations, they open up right within the same screen, so it doesn't take your kids really out of Edmodo. Everything opens up within Edmodo, so it's almost impossible for them to get lost. Now, you guys probably can't hear because I have the sound muted, but there is like some music in the background of this game. The kids can choose whether they want to do solo or multiplayer. They can choose the skills. And a lot of these games have the ability for the teacher to assign what skills they want the student to work with. So that's great for differentiated instruction because you can say, I know, Jim needs work with these times tables, so he's going to work on that. And so-and-so is beyond multiplication. They're working on division, so I'm going to assign them that. So when you really get in and explore the games, there's different, depending on the game, there's different capabilities in there. But a lot of them have some of that ability to assign different skills to different kids, which is really nice for differentiating the instruction. To close it out of the game and return to Edmodo, there's usually a little X in the top corner. And so basically, you just click on that and it will close it out. And you can see it takes you right back into there. Sorry, my computer just turned red. So give me just a second to plug in so I don't lose battery. Just take me a second. All right, so this is a lot of exploration, basically, which is fun, but it will give you the opportunity to really see what's behind there. Okay, so also when you click on apps that you have installed, some of them, like you can see here, this one was a paid app, and I had to pay $9.99 for each group, but usually it will only allow you like up to, it looks like this one allows like 30 or 34 licenses. So if you have a really large class, it may charge you for add-ons. So I've installed that one on demo, but it tells me right here under this, if I have a large group with a lot of members, like up here, if I were to want to share it with this CTIP group, it says, oh, that one has 66 members. So that would require 36 add-ons. And it tells me that I would have to pay $11.88 to get that one installed for that class. So if it's free and it's unlimited, you can really assign it to any group or class. But if it's paid, you may have to be careful about, which groups you assign it to because especially if it's a large group, it may charge you for add-on licenses. But that gives you kind of an idea as to how that works. I am going to go back into the apps, and here I am under Manage My Apps. So you can see these are all the apps that I have loaded, and you can tell just by looking at them whether it's unlimited or free. I can see how many groups I've installed it with, and you can actually launch them from here. Let me just show you a couple really quick. And again, these are all these are all available to you as a student in my games and simulations class. So especially some of those paid ones, you can, you guys can look at those from there as well. I am going to log in as a student, show you guys what this would look like. I have a little student account that I use. So I'm a student and I log in and I loaded, this student is a sample student that I created, and I did join the games and simulations group. So every time I add and install a new game or simulation and share it with that class, and in this case my class is the games and simulations group, you can see it posts something in there that says, I just installed Operations and Algebra app. You can now start playing it anytime. And it posts something in the stream so that the kids could basically, they could jump right in as well and play it from there. Like if I click on this launch Operations and Algebra game, it just immediately starts opening it. So that's one way that your kids can access the game. And here they can go, okay, I'm going to, select the game, and they can just jump right in and play. So you can see how that works. And they click on that little X in the corner to exit out. If it's something that isn't in the stream, your kids have a little app button in the top, and they can click on that. And they can go on the back end, and you can tell them exactly, which app or simulation that you want them to work on. Here's a frog dissection one. So I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's telling me what to do. So this is a great example of a simulation. And what's great about this is it gives the kids the ability to work at their own pace, because they're all working on it individually, which is really nice. So you can see how that would work. It's a fun one. I'm trying to see if some other ones that I have that might be a little bit different. There's some really great social studies ones. These were ones were only a couple dollars. I think it was like $2 for a group. This is one, Do I Have a Right? And it's published by iCivics, which is something sponsored by Sandra Day O'Connor. She started that original game called Our Courts, which is online. And a lot of these, even though it's social studies, it's really great. I think for a lot, even English language arts, it would be great because it has a lot of speaking, listening, and writing skills involved. This is one where the kids they they have to argue different cases. They have to look at different points of view, and they have to be able to express that and communicate that. So again, if you that's something that you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to buy that one, that's one that I already bought that I put in there. And there's a couple other social studies ones in there too, like Win the White House, I loaded as well. And Argument Wars, I think this is one that's also produced by iCivics, and they have to argue different cases from different points of view, and it's created as a game. And so even I want to do this. This looks like a lot of fun. New Jersey versus TLO. So you say get started. I don't even know what I did last time. So we'll say new game. Choose your lawyer. And then students have a right to keep things private at school. And then on the other side, schools need to search students' things. And then they can switch clients. And you can see this is just amazing simulation, and the kids, great game for critical thinking. This amazing science one, this is one where the teacher really has a lot of power under the dashboard to see exactly what the students have completed. Now, I'm logged in as a student right now, so it really only shows me from the point of view of the student. This is one that I bought. I think it was like $9.99 per group, but it's got all kinds of science tutorial type lessons. You can see I did the cell and cell processes one and I'm 11% through. You can search for your lessons, and the teacher can see on their dashboard everything that the student has completed. You can see down here I did complete diffusion in cells and transport of dissolved something or other. I can't remember. And then I'm 75% through cell processes. So if I wanted to, as the student, again, this is differentiated instruction. I am working at my own pace on things that I need to work on, and it's really rich in multimedia. It's got quizzes throughout. It's got videos throughout, and it has a tracker to help me keep track of where I'm at. So the student would go through, it gives them immediate feedback with answers, it can give them quizzes, and just a lot of really great activities in that one as well. Now, the Learn Zillion ones, these are all free, and this is something that I think you guys should really look into, especially if you teach math and language arts, because it's all Common Core aligned and it's free. Now, when you go to Learn Zillion, and you can access it directly through Edmodo, or you can go onto their website and access it that way as well. They have the ability to set up free classes, and if you do it within Edmodo, you can, it's all integrated within through the App Store, so that's how your kids can access everything. So when you set it up as a teacher, it lets you add your students, and then it gives them an enrollment code. And then when your student clicks on the Learn Zillion app, it'll say you need to sign up the first time and put the enrollment code. And so you will have provided that with them. Once they get completely signed in with that enrollment code, right now you can see that I am looking at 7 different lessons under grammar and idioms. And again, these are things that you could assign your students. So this is great for differentiated instruction because you can assign lessons for the students to go through, or it's something that they could go through and review all the lessons if they wanted. But it goes through, it tells me over here that this is lesson 3 of 7, 8th grade argumentative writing. And I don't know if you guys can hear, but there's somebody talking right now in this video. And it goes through a whole lesson. And off to the side, you can see the lessons continue. And it's all about organizing information for an argumentative lesson. They have great lessons here in Learn Zillion. And this is what it looked like. Now, remember, I'm logged in as a student. So I set up this student. And when they click on their class, it says you don't have any assignments for this class. But as the teacher, like I said before, you could assign lessons for the students to complete, and it can be different for every student. We could probably do our own webinar just on Learn Zillion. But it really, if you go into the Learn Zillion app through Edmodo, it really walks you through step by step how to set it up, because I didn't have any background on how to set it up, and I did it in about 5 minutes just by following the steps. You can see that they've got lots of math and ELA. They're all Common Core aligned, all grade levels. You can also search. So if I click on ELA, I can actually go through and choose a strand. And I could filter that, by grade levels. And I can even filter it down to a standard. Um, and then it gives you a core lesson and then also some guided practice. So Learn Zillion is just if you teach elementary or you teach even secondary math or ELA, this is just definitely a resource that I would say take advantage of, because it's free. And when you go into the Edmodo store, you can see I've installed 8th grade reading, 8th grade writing, grammar and idioms, but if I log out and log back in as the teacher and go into the store, you guys will see how much LearnZillion stuff is actually available. So if I go back into apps and I say go to store, and let's just say I go into language arts. Usually the LearnZillion stuff is at the bottom. So I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of all these apps, and there you can see you start getting into the LearnZillion ones. Starts with 3rd grade. And you can see 3rd grade, 5th grade, reading, writing. They've got all kinds of apps, and they are unlimited and they're free. And if you take the time to set up a teacher account and add your students, then you add all that extra capability of being able to assign certain lessons to certain kids. And then if your kids have Edmodo accounts, then it's really intentional on what content they're working on. So the best way, and so I really wanted to kind of just make this portion of the webinar be at least the half hour, 30, 40-minute mark, so we had time for questions and so that you also had time to play around. I wanted a lot of this to be really hands-on, the ability for you to go in and play around. So I'm going to cut it off here because the best way to learn is to really get in there and play around. And then even if you don't have any questions right now, if you are playing around and you have questions, post them in our Moodle discussion and we can all help each other, because trust me, I'm not an expert on all these games. I learned just by exploring and loading them and logging in as a student. So I recommend that you guys create a kind of a phantom fake student account so that you can log in and kind of see what it looks like from the student point of view and play around. And then Misha says we can have a Camp 21 at Edmodo in May, and oh yeah, we are having one in May. That's exactly right. So I'm sure, I don't know how much detail that one will go into the games and simulations, but if you want to learn more about Edmodo itself, come to the Camp 21 session that we have in May. I'm really glad that Misha mentioned that. So if you guys have any questions, you can type them in the questions, or you can raise your hand, and I will give you microphone access to ask that question. Otherwise, you are free to go, and I'd like to encourage you to take the rest of the time and go into that games and simulations. In fact, let me go back and put that games and simulations code back up. And I encourage you guys to go into there and play some of the games that I have loaded. That will give you an idea of what it's like from the student point of view. And I've loaded games in all content areas and grade levels, or at least I tried to. So I'll let you guys try that out. But the code again is right over here, VVVL86. And type in, inside our Edmodo group if you want, type in some of your thoughts on some of the games. And if there's some that you explored, share that with other people. If you found a really great one, post that so that other people know that it's a high quality game, because just like anything, these are games and simulations, and you have to try them out and make sure that they're high quality and meet your standards and your objectives. So if you guys have questions, feel free. And then Jennifer says, can you give me my code now so that I can sign up for Reno? Yes, I can. Give me just a second and I will look that up. Oh, sorry. I guess I don't have rights. They must, I'll have to, for now, Jennifer, just sign up for, just sign up for at the edmodo.com site, and then after I figure out why it's not letting me look at it, the school codes, then I'll figure that out next week, and I can send you your code for Reno, and then all you'll have to do is, after I give you your code, go to Washoe County School District.edmodo.com, and you can put yours in, your school code in, and everything that you set up on the regular www.edmodo.com site will all appear. So you can kind of switch over to the Washoe County domain at any time, and all your stuff appears there. So sorry, I thought I had rights to look at it, but I used to, but I don't know what happened. Maybe they restricted them and I need to go get it back. Or maybe Misha. Misha, do you have rights to look back there? And if Misha does, she can look for it. But I can definitely email you guys that. I will. I'll just look up everybody's in the class and I will email you your Edmodo codes. That way you have them. Okay, so Kelly says she's all logged in and everything. To get to, okay, so once you get logged in, then click on join. In the left-hand column, there is a join button. And in that join group, you're going to put VVV, and I'll type it in the questions, VVVL86. And so you're going to put that code into that join group. And then as soon as you hit join, it's going to see, it tells me that I've already belonged to this group, but for you, it would say you now belong to games and simulations, and that's how you're able to join my group. So hopefully that cleared that up, Kelly. We went through it very quickly, so I hope that all of this is making sense. I appreciate you guys following my jumping around back and forth between student and teacher, but I kind of wanted to give you the idea, especially if you're new to Edmodo, of what it would look like. All right, so please join our group and explore some of those games. And then if there's something that you want to learn more about or you need more help with, then please post that in our Moodle forum, or I'll also be checking our games and simulations group in Edmodo, and we can help each other out from there. But thanks everybody so much for showing up, and so you will not have to watch the playback unless you want to. This will be recorded, so if you want to go back and watch it, you can. I see Ellen has a question, so I'm going to unmute her and let her ask her question. Ellen, go ahead.
I went in there to my Edmodo account, and when I went to the apps, the first thing I got was, "Hi, Ellen Townsend, sign up for a free account here." Or if you already have an account, click here. And I went into the 8th grade writing Learn Zillion. So do I have to create an account?
Yes, the first time you go in, and it's free, so you don't have to pay for anything on Learn Zillion, but the first time you click on Learn Zillion as either a student or teacher, it will ask you to create an account. And so go ahead and click on the yes, I want to create an account. You can create your username and login. And if you're a teacher, it will then take you to a dashboard that will say, do you want to add students and create a class? And that's where you add students and where it'll give you the enrollment codes to give to your students. It used to be, when I first found Learn Zillion on the Edmodo App Store, you did not have to log in. So I've noticed that's a new change, but I think the reason they've added the logging in is so that you have a lot more control on being able to assign specific content and tracking progress of the kids. So, but you do have to create an account, I've noticed, and you didn't used to, but you do now. But I think it's a good thing because it allows you to really track your kids' progress and be able to have them work on content that you've assigned them. Does that help, Ellen?
I don't know. I'm having a little trouble, but it could be because I'm on my laptop.
Okay, let's see here. So I wished I hadn't already set up my account so I could walk you guys through it. If you continue to have problems with it, give me a call, and I'd be happy to help you if it turns out to not be your laptop and if there's something else. I'm trying to remember how when I first signed up, I think I created an account and then took me straight to a dashboard. So um, mess around and play with it a little bit and let me know what you think. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Go ahead and raise your hand if you do, or you can put it in the question. If you don't have any questions, you are free to go and you can join our group and play around. All right. Well, thanks everybody. We will go ahead and end the webinar, but again, this doesn't mean that your support is cut off. So if you have questions, remember that Moodle forum. Remember, you can also post it. I'll be keeping an eye on the games and simulations group in Edmodo, and feel free to ask questions there and share some of the new discoveries that you found. Thanks again. And I will send you guys the information on the recording after I get it published and ready to go in case you wanted to go back and watch it or share it with any of your colleagues. But like Misha said, don't forget we are having an Edmodo camp in the spring. And so if you want to come to that camp, we'll be going into a lot more detail. Okay, thanks everybody.